Testing 1 2, testing 1 2. Hello, Taurus moon people. Welcome to your December new moon reading. This is the last one for 2017. It is in Sagittarius Capricorn. It's right on the cusp. And so when we talk about our soul energy, our soul lunar energy, we're talking about the shadow. We're talking about the Jyotish, Vedic, sidereal astrology, which is in Sagittarius, the new moon. And it's on the cusp with Scorpio. When we're talking about the light, and we see the light here with the sun reflection on the moon in Capricorn, that is the earth-centric, the ego-oriented Western astrology. It's more about the Earth's perspective of the cosmos as opposed to the cosmic actual delineation and transits of the planets as they relate to the moon. And the moon in the sidereal is in the nakshatra Mula. Mula has to do with self-preservation. This is very much related to Taurus. If you remember your full moon reading, Taurus, it was about you expressing yourself abundantly. Remember that very powerful super moon in Taurus Gemini that we had just a couple of weeks ago. Great Mother came through with the message for you. You might want to look at that again if you didn't already, about abundantly expressing yourself and what that's all about. And so we're very anxious to hear from Great Mother. We'll be anxious for nothing, but we are wanting to follow up with that reading just 2 weeks ago for this last new moon message. Great Mother's coming right through for you, Taurus moon people, and she is saying that you feel at home. This energy for you, the soul energy of the sage, is in your 8th house. This is regeneration, rebirth. This is something to do perhaps with someone else's property. This has to do with this entire year for you being about that fixed earth energy being moved by something very deeply within and allowing yourself to be deeply moved, allowing yourself to respond in new ways. And it really is kind of euphemistic to say that because you've almost been forced to change. There has been, with this Mula energy, some painful experiences that are coming to mind right now during this new moon phase for you Taurus moon people from this year. But you've come through that. You have preserved, you have conserved the essential part of yourself that means the most to you. And you've done that through angelic, ancestral, and higher guidance. You are at home. This is the Ankh card, and the Ankh card has to do with you actually being guided. You see those angel wings and the eternal breath of life, you being in that moment. And so right now we see here the balsamic moon with the third eye, the Ankh being that eternal breath of life. You're there. You feel like you've made it home. Right now, this new moon, you have been reborn. You have gone through some real deep regeneration. And you're just resting, looking at the sunset at the end of 2017, Taurus moon people. You know, you've been through it. Okay, and you've arrived at that peaceful place at the end of the journey for this year. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that wonderful, Taurus moon people? That is the balsamic moon. That is the last moon before the new moon. That's the last phase. And so if you're watching this video right before the new moon, during the balsamic moon, well, then you are getting downloads right now that are letting you know that you are at home, that you have made it. The balsamic moon is a period of rest, recuperation, of a release, of letting that last lunar cycle go and all the lessons that it had, letting that go. And so again, that full moon illumination that came up during that supermoon period, December 3rd, just 2 weeks ago, that's ended now. Okay, this is the new moon, and yes, you have abundantly expressed yourself, and now you've come back into a more broader sense of yourself, and you're ready to express that in new ways, because that Capricorn, that sun energy with this crescent sunlight here in the balsamic moon, it is fading out, but it's still there. It came up during that super moon of that full illumination of that abundant expression, and it's starting to kind of fade out as the sun sets. And so what Great Mother is saying is that the transformative opportunity for you, Taurus moon people, has to do with the waning gibbous moon. This is the Sheila Nagid card. Now the Sheila Nagid card has to do with the heart chakra. And the heart chakra is the chakra that we often talk about opening so that we can expand our experience in this realm and be open to more abundance, joy, and happiness. We forget that opening the heart also opens us to a lot of pain, disappointment. It opens us to every experience. And so that's what Sheila Nagid is. Sheila Nagid is the crone that sits vulva, legs wide open on the threshold above every temple in Old Britain, England. And so that's Sheila Nagid. She is the crone that is the threshold between life and death, that portal of birth and that portal of spirituality. You're at home now. You're in that place of download. The transformative opportunity for you, Taurus moon people, has to do with recognizing that yin-yang balance in your heart, that ego-soul crossroads between the opening and the breaking of the heart. And so there has been some heartbreak. There has been some disappointment. There has been a request made and answered, but it was not answered in the way that you expected. You're still hopeful because the answer is still going to deliver you with what it is that you're asking, because this here is mostly light. And so of course that light expression is showing us Capricorn energy, is showing us that Capricorn moon energy in the Western astrology that has to do with action that is practical, that is organized, that is administrative, that has some type of practical application in the world. And so the heart is wanting to have some practical need met. But in order to do that, this awareness of being at home already has to be accepted. So sometimes we ask for things and we really don't need them, but we ask for them because we want the experience. You know, I don't have to go to Turkey on a yacht, but that's something that I would like to do. All my needs are met. I'm well fed, I'm taken care of, but that's an experience that I'd like to have. Well, oftentimes, again, we don't think about opening our heart to new experiences, to new requests, is also an opportunity for our heart to break. I mean, who knows what's going to happen out of that experience? Now, it's not about living from fear. It's about understanding that there's a balance between love and fear that we teeter upon. And that has been a lesson for you this year, hasn't it, Taurus moon people? That courageously going forward into new vistas that may not have been places that you would have entertained before. Some very unconventional ideas, perhaps, that have been soul inspired, as we see with another balsamic moon card that is mostly darkness, and the balsamic, again, this download with the Jesus card. And this is the card of soul guidance and guardianship, eternal grace and mercy, the Jesus card. This has to do with angels, guides, and ancestors that are guiding you along your path. And so even though you do want to take this trip to Turkey, for you it could be, I want to have an elective surgery. I don't need to have the surgery. I'm well, I'm completely healthy, but I want to experience this particular physicality in my life at this time. It could be anything. It could be, I don't need this car, I don't need this pet, I don't need this dog, I don't need this cat, but I want to expand my experience. It's something that is part of my transformation. It's going to add, it's going to enhance my experience. Yes, I know that there is a possibility through this heart opening that it can be broken, because the portal goes both ways. The portal goes both ways. We come into life in this realm and we leave this realm, don't we? And so we go in with love and we open ourselves up to the experience, but there's also the chance that it will go back into the world in which it came. Okay, and so that's the detachment, not being attached to the pet, not being attached to the yacht or the cruise to Turkey, not being attached to the physicality, the experience. And so what Great Mother does not want you to overlook, Taurus Moon people, is that in this process of this soul download of this rebirth, this regeneration during this new moon period, and the light that we're seeing here with this waxing gibbous moon, it is the light right before the full moon. And so we're going right back into the lunar cycle just up to the full moon that'll be happening on the 1st of January. So right before the 1st of January, at the end, New Year's Eve, look for opportunities to assert your personal power as it relates to you being at home, you having all your needs met, you not really needing anything at all. Okay, and so maybe you will have that experience that you want to have, that you're asking for right now, that you're opened up to, and maybe that will come to pass. But if it doesn't, it's no big deal because you are at home. If it does, Great Mother is saying, don't overlook the fact that it's happening because you are asserting your personal power. You are owning your birthright to, as a divine child of the Great Mother, Father God, have any experience that you want. And so this has to do with that gut chakra. This has to do with that part of us that is governed by Mars. Okay, and so what does Mars govern? Mars governs Scorpio and Aries energy. And so we're talking about Taurus. And so when we're talking about Taurus and Aries, we're talking about 12th house and we're talking about 6th house. And so we're talking about day-to-day practical things. And so wanting to look at where in your work life, where in your health life, where in just your day-to-day life are you wanting to bring in this guidance, okay, this grace and mercy from Jesus. As we see in the Jesus card, where are you bringing that in to guide your personal power? How are you using that in order to manifest what your dreams are? Because what I'm getting here in summary for you is that there is a desire that you have, Taurus Moon people, but in order for you to fulfill it, there's going to need to be a real clarity about your heart energy. You see the heart chakra here on the balsamic moon card with your guidance. It's really getting in touch with that crossroads of the ego soul, this Sagittarius Capricorn energy with this new moon, and being open to what this opportunity can offer beyond what you can even imagine. Just realizing that, wow, anything can happen, okay? And with that realization of what that desire can possibly produce for you, you focusing in on what your request may be for that, even though you have everything. You know, you're at peace with the eternal breath and you're at the beach at sunset. You're just like at any sunset, you're just imagining the end of the day and you're at peace and, you know, you're not even thinking about tomorrow. But sometimes we have what they call silent prayers. And that is what this indicates. What Great Mother doesn't want you to overlook is maybe there's a silent prayer. And that silent prayer that you have for tomorrow, for something you don't even need, but it's not even something that you're attached to. It's just something that you're open to experiencing. Okay, that pet again. It might be, you know, that car. It might be a new friendship. It might be a new business. It might be a new diet, a lifestyle. It could be anything. What she's saying is that follow through with that heart opening. Trust your guidance and what it's telling you, your ancestors, your guides, your ancestors, Jesus, the Christ consciousness that's coming through and aligning you, your ego soul, in that equilibrium, that peace, that you have peace with that request. And then you assert your personal power in a way that you refine it, define it, revise and edit that desire so that you can bring it into manifestation. That is what the waxing gibbous moon is. The waxing gibbous moon is right before the full moon of illumination. And so that's revising, editing, okay? And it's going back and just clarifying things. And so whatever that desire is, get the guidance first. Get clear about what the guidance is telling you about this desire. Oh, that's this cruise to Turkey, okay? The guidance is telling me maybe it's not such a safe time to be cruising in that part of the world. Oh, but I still really, really want to go. Okay, I got my guidance. Now, how do I need to revise this? Okay, what are some things that I like about Turkey that I really would like to experience, but I might not be able to go to Turkey to do? Oh, I want to do some markets. I want to do, some spices. I want to do some, traveling in desert mountains and then some green mountains. Where else can I do that on a cruise? That's not Turkey. That's the revision. That's what Great Mother is saying for you, Taurus moon people, for this new moon season. She's saying that with this rebirth and this regeneration, start to apply and implement the new things that you've learned in terms of how to live your life, how to ground yourself, and how to express yourself in genuine ways. Sometimes that can be challenging for Taurus moon people. That's what she has for you this new moon. And as always, remember, Great Mother loves you. And I do too. I am Great Mother, Holy Spirit, Yin, Divine Mother, Cosmic Womb, Deep Space, the Moon.